do I start? We'll just go with Andromeda. When she was in slumber, sleeping, meeting the redneck, the big red bird at the cage. And then she would go down to Calibos. I looked at it as two different ways it could be. One of them is it's her. Calibos is her masculine self. Like, in other words, the two of them are the same person, but she was like, she was the one that just wanted to or Calibos was the one just wanted to really get back at Perseus, because he was a problem. He was a problem for sure. And that was her evil side. And once she was finally released from her evil masculine side, then she was able to wake up. Like, the two became one. That's just one way of looking at it. And then the other way, obviously, is she was engaged to him, and but he just wasn't very handsome. I forgot what happened to him. I don't know if he was very handsome at one point, and then it's like the opposite effect of that fairy tale where the toad, the princess needing to kiss the prince, or turned him into a toad, or turn him from a toad into the handsome prince. Most of these stories are all the same. It's all about the Bible, one way or another, the stories in it. Like Perseus representing the Christ, the Savior, the spirit that doesn't back down from people like Calibos. Or as he's in the basement, so it seems like he's the angel of the bottomless pit, because he's down there in the swamp. And then I've always thought as well, just so things could be clarified, because I know that the Father in heaven needs to hear these words and needs to know how to direct. And also, the devil's going to play his tricks too, his cheap tricks all the time. But regardless, it's about clarity from confusion, because this is the land of confusion. Who's the author of it? I remember Stephen James DeShawn. He was a good friend of mine in the beginning, but also had characteristics of a narcissist. And the funny thing about it is, he would accuse me of being exactly what he was: a narcissist, a liar, CIA, Luciferian top head United States gang stalking leader, all these things that, these lies on the internet said about him. All these lies, they lied about it. And I just always looked at it as he's just pointing them. He's just looking in the mirror, talking like he's looking in the mirror at himself, rehearsing his lines, recording them, and then pointing at me. It got to a point where it became so funny that I no longer was sickened, because I went through a lot of roller coaster feelings. People being my friends and then turning and stabbing me in the back and pretending, and I don't even get it. What? And I woke up, learned a lot of things, matured, but back then, Steve was my entertainment, because I found it amusing that there's this high-profile character. We'll just call Steve a character. He reminds me of Calabas, because like me being like Perseus, he's always attacking, trying to, just doing with the anger that he has, controlling a person that he's with. And so you got Jonathan Kleck over there, you got Derek Burrows, and you got Stephen James Deshawn. We'll just stick with those three. Between the three, somebody has to have a balance. The balance at the end, where we're coming up to, somebody in the end has the balance. But I know that even with the people I've come across, I can even if I get along with someone face to face, doesn't mean that they're not testing me behind the scenes. And then that's why when I would get mad at a lot of stuff, and then after the fact, when all the smoke clears, it's like, well, look at how it changed. Look at how it changed me into somebody that just became mentally stronger with it. I learned how to. Steve said I was a great editor, and then I started to become more of an editor professionally. And all these things are tools that I'm able to use for my future career, because this is just the beginning of me getting started. 8 years, I'm finally getting started, because I've been doing it for free. It's just, and I know the importance of what I'm doing now, so I'm gonna keep doing it as I see I communicate with anybody I choose. And it's funny because it happens all the time, and how things sync together with whoever I push record and watch. I can be driving, they're gonna talk about, I go and push my button over here with the window. As soon as I push the button, they'll talk about something about me pushing a button. Like that. If someone pulls in front of me, they'll talk about something of being patient, things are done on purpose. I don't know how that works, but it's pretty amazing, because it's the same as the Philadelphia Art Museum. It's the same as being able to tap into another dimension of time, even though my time right now is live according to how I feel. I'm living in the moment. This now moment is able to tap into a past moment from something that was already recorded, and it brings it to the future, and then I can record that and make a future video about it. So it's a past, present, future. So when it comes to the role, like the King David role, Philadelphia, the angel of the Church of Philadelphia. So Jonathan Clegg had already claimed that title. I don't know if, per se, if he claimed the King David title, but I know Stephen James definitely did. But I also know that people copy a lot of the things that I do. And I didn't know anybody from Adam until I met the people on YouTube claiming to be Adam. And then Eve being taken from his side, and then. So what I'm saying is, one story is real, the other one is a fraudulent story, claiming the exact movements of my life, because they would place people in my direction. They would send people to me and then pull them away, and then make it seem like that's the legitimate story. You know, could it be? Well, anything's possible. Like Andromeda meeting the redneck Big Bird at a cage. Like pulling your spouse from you, standing with the one who caused you all of the heartache and pain. Did they do it on purpose in order to strengthen you? Or did they do it for evil intent and they need to apologize at a certain point because they can't even live with themselves anymore because it's eating them alive? Because let's face it, Steve, how many times have you tried? Did you try to stop me because you love me? Maybe. Did you stop me because I was a threat to your kingdom? Maybe. Did you have mixed feelings because you loved me and you knew that I was a threat to the kingdom? Possibly could be true. Was that really who you looked like? I doubt it. No, it's not. Could you be a female underneath of that man mask? Maybe. Could you be neither male or female? Maybe. Could you be somebody on the internet right now that I communicate with in female version? It's possible. I already said that would be, it would be weird, but to meet somebody has been a Stephen James to Sean the entire time, and then I meet up later on in life and it's the female version, or should I say the actual version, the true version, because I first met all the people that came against me were women anyway, or either women naturally or transgender, or angels from heaven, which was neither male or female. One of the three. And then when I meet up towards the end here, I meet up with the women, the feminine version of the masculine that attacked me. And that would be something else. And that would remind me of, say, like Steve, your perfect example. I can't pretend I'm not talking about anybody else. You being like the Cali boss figure, you still could be. And your mate is who you're with, your husband, your wife, or they're these are twins these are twins, but you're not saying that you have a twin. But the system is all about twins, and there's the male, the masculine, and the feminine. The masculine doesn't like me, the feminine does. So when the feminine is married to the masculine and they're twins, like the Adam and Eve, the two are one, or then yeah, the masculine gets up behind the same mask of the other person. And that's what I've dealt with the Jonathan Kleck channel for so long. I always felt like, until I finally started to catch on, this dude has like some kind of bipolar. I can't quite understand why it seems like he loves me this day, and then the next day is like showing heads and images of my similarity, my head being chopped off to the side and threatening me like Saul. And then Jonathan gets up and it's like, that's my buddy. And you know, I didn't understand at the time, and then I thought, well, maybe because there's like 4 different Jonathan Kleck channels, maybe one of them's Saul, one of them's Jonathan, one of them's the other 2 sons, I forget their names. It's like possibilities. I like to get all the possibilities out there, because there's times where people will hop up and clarify it one way or another. And then even the last word I heard is nerd, right? From a commercial, and then Shelly pops up. You know what I heard? And it right in the... I pushed the button, right? How do you know I'm going to push the button at that exact time after I heard the word nerd, and then you heard, and then it's about consequences, and that was the song. Because I was... There's times where there's obvious, super obvious communication right after I'm talking about something. When you drop the name, teas, abilities, entities, and you repeat it 3 times. One day after I'm making the video about Freya, I believe these people are, I believe you women quite well possibly could be the men that I dealt with that have given me such a hard time. Now, how can I be mad at anybody when I look back and I see, because of everybody attacking me, yeah, it hurt, but look at all the videos I made that are funny as hell. Like, this whole entire community army of, whether you're CIA hybrid, which is most likely, FBI most likely as well, NSA, same thing, Illuminati, Hollywood actors, rock star singers, you get behind the YouTube platform pretending to just be like a regular person with a dog and a cut-off shirt, or whatever, just whatever you dress up as. But yet you're these real famous people and rich as hell, and here I am being and all this attention from you. And then for the ones that turned against me, you know, there's a handful, quite a couple handfuls. I don't feel like going through all the names, but because of you attacking me, you helped me to learn about myself. You threw your demons in my direction. I absorbed those demons and then rinsed them out and then watched them fall to the ground. And then they started to work for me because they have no choice. And I don't pay them because that's it. That's the deal. I learned how to get over. I learned how to be more patient. I learned how to get over things faster. I learned how to get rid of the sickness. I learned how to become a better video creator. I learned how to be a better editor. I learned how to... I got back into writing again. So once my wife's... once my wife was pulled away, I just look at everything as by design. So once like this was planned a long time ago, and I'll just look at it as she was a part of the plan and she knew it, and this was what was supposed to, you know, you got to do what you got to do because the boss is telling you what to do. Okay, well, you know, again, every heartache, every heart break, every pain that you go through, the fact that it was designed to crush me, the fact that all of you were designed to come and just pounce because you seen the headlines, you seen my name scrolling across the news, and you didn't know how I got there. So you were sent to stop me before we get to that headline, but you didn't know it's because of you. It's because of yins that came in my direction trying to stop. That's what created my headline across the news. That's a theory of mine, that's how that happened. And then the other way is that the fact that you all knew anyway, and you did it anyway because that was part of it. But like Back to the Future, going Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox, Michael, who was like God, came back to make sure the future wasn't altered, or else he wouldn't have been born. And so the people that came against me, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because your tactics failed miserably, but yet succeeded tremendously. Because the success is the result, and the failure was the attempt. And so now, sure, I can forgive people because, look, that's the result that happened. But are people willing to apologize, repent, and truly be converted? Is that possible? I mean, I heard even the reptilians could be converted. Even aliens can be reprogrammed. Your brains, your circuits, the brain chips. I may even have a brain chip myself without a brain. I might even not even have a brain. Who knows? Or half a brain? Something about that hospital I was born in, General Hospital. The landscape, the design, and all that stuff that was going on back then when I studied that land. Then I focused in on studying the art museum, and then I focused on going into the art museum, and then that was when I pretty much, I think that's when Steve and James, I think that's when you finally basically stopped attacking. That's when you finally, I don't know if you've seen that ahead of time. You had to have seen my future. But you had to have gotten converted from, the two rocks, the two become one. Because if not, wow, you would be you would be like the devil himself who will never repent. And you were just sent to just do your job. And then basically you did your job because you were able to change me into a better man. So thanks, Steve. Thanks for all the attacks. And I'm sure they're not done. So what's next? Well, what's next is going to make me even stronger. Boy, I can't wait for that one. Oh. Can't wait for the grand finale. But it's time for a change, and I gotta just try to make it change. I'm just gonna go where I need to go, and I'm sure I'll meet up with who I need to meet up with, and I'm sure there'll be some cheap tricks trying to be played. I'm pretty sure I'll be tested and tempted and tried, and when you do something you've never done before, since you started doing it, you're gonna be tempted to cave in. So be it. So the Truman Show. Truman was married. His wife was sent by Christophilus, who's up in the moon watching everything. The moon. John from Denver, you have that moon sign. I know you're just a character. I was debating which character, John. So Quentin Wise is one, and John from Denver, and Jonathan Kleck, and all these Johns in 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, and then with the Happy Birthday, Mrs. T's, right? Because that's not, but you knew that. Pulling away. Okay, I get it. Here's what happened with that. I tried every avenue I could try to reconcile the marriage. I didn't think it was going to be that difficult. I actually thought, who's this? Who got hurt? But no, it's like when you get back with your ex-boyfriend or husband that you've already married to, well, I can see why there was a plan from the beginning, and it ain't gonna, nothing I can do is ever gonna stop if that was the case. Because in the Truman Show, was his wife really his when she was controlled and told what to do by Christophilus, who's up in the moon? Was it really his wife? Therefore, who's the girl that was waiting for him on the other side? She had really big eyes, big beautiful eyes, like, and she was waiting for Truman on the other side. Now, Christophilus, who was up in the moon, tried everything he could, thought Truman was going to stay. Truman was debating, should I stay or should I go now? And then he decided to exit left stage and see you later. Now, I think, according to the Bible, what did Christ do? Did he go across the Jordan first and then came back after the fact? I forget how that all works, but it's like, see ya. And until you leave, nobody's going to take you serious. Nobody's going to, until you separate. Like, even when I was talking to Steve, we were talking face to face in the beginning on FaceTime, the first year that we met up. I think I met you somewhere around January, February 2018. Started communicating with all the people, all your apostles, all your disciples came in my direction. It felt like a Judas type of a thing. I felt like I was scorned by Matthew Daly, crucified for 3.5 hours by some type of a Roman soldier or something. Because these are the things that actually took place that reminds me of the story in the Bible in a spiritual form. And then the threats of those things being literal, okay, well, whatever. And everything will be what it will be, and it won't be what it won't be. In the meantime, if people can get you to think that they're so viciously tough and killers, and okay, well, then they got you, and they don't even have to do anything because they already got you in your head believing it, so it works. But exiting left, wasn't that something? I created a song yesterday for the first time with the fa la 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 la, and in that version, as I'm tying it together with the Truman Show, Truman sings it as he's saying good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and that equaled fa la 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 la. That's what I'm talking about. It's like that. How do you even? How can that be possible? I just can't even think of it, because it is, and I know all I gotta do is just play, push record, watch this, put that together. It just lines up, and it's like it's too easy. It's not even, I can't even take credit for it. God is, the angels and the way that this, it just makes me speechless. The times I just laugh. I can't even help it. It's funny as hell how it always happens like that. And that's what you've seen over these years, especially with the Philadelphia Art Museum. So what I'm saying is this: you may be a twin of somebody. You could be someone like Uriah, or you claim to be King David at times. But see, King David had a faithful, no, not a faithful, a loyal, because faithful is more like telling the truth. Loyal is someone who's always by your side, regardless if they like you or not. They're still going to be loyal to, like, you could be loyal to attacking me. Look, but I got a loyal servant. He's willing to attack me all the time. He's willing to strengthen me. He's willing to make me stronger. Loyal. Having a loyal warrior. And then I was listening to Freya earlier with one of the messages about someone from your past, you know, this person, someone from your past that they got separated, like kind of like Adam and Eve, so pulled, you know, deceived, pulled, Eve pulled, attacked. Maybe Eve was attacking Adam and that's why they separated. Pulled from his side, went along with the serpent. Jonathan Kleck, serpent in the garden. Barack Obama, serpent, the garden, the Philadelphia Art Museum is a snake rising up from the sea with a wounded head. It's also Medusa. Remember I chopped it off just like in the movie? Perseus holding up Medusa's head at Philadelphia Art Museum. Same thing. How did I figure that out? I just start pushing record, look at this, like, wait a minute, that's the same image. Let me outline that. Yikes. The devil deceiving Eve and Adam, and then you got the Bathsheba scenario with King David after Saul sent his 2 daughters to, I remember 2 people were sent in my direction. Will they ever admit that? I don't know if, can you? Can you admit that you were sent in my direction? Because you already know that I know that. And you know that there can't be any further like intimate relationship for sure without some type of confession. And even with that, it's just I'm not looking for that. Even if someone hops in my direction, I don't have to do anything. I can just wait another 3 years to make sure, because once we're right at the end, I'm pretty sure that these tactics are going to happen, and I'll say it because we already know they're going to happen anyway. It's not like I'm manifesting these. Well, I could be. No, because I haven't manifested millions of dollars in my bank account, so that's a bunch of horse malarkey. I hear those things. Derek said it the other day too. Yeah, I was listening. Just because I say these things, people think I manifest. Well, maybe you're saying it because you're already going to happen. Maybe you're saying it because you are the one created, and maybe you're saying it because, you know, you did say people easily believe you're God. Like they easily can. It's like without a question, they can believe it. All you need is a little bit of money. So what I'm saying about Uriah, I don't really know much, but I'm not afraid to look like a dummy because I don't know scripture. I'm not the one that wrote the book. I'm just the one living it. That's all. You know, you got to write it. People wrote things and made movies and wrote stories and sang songs and created videos from the things that I did. So it's not my concern as much to know everything, although I would like to, but I just know that I lived it. I'm living it. So I don't know much about Uriah. Said he was a faithful servant of David's, but why was? So David was already married, right, to Micah, and I think 2 women before, 7 altogether. No, 8. Bathsheba was the last one. So why would he even be interested? If David was a man after God's own heart, number one, why would he marry 7 women? And then why would he kill so many people as a soldier? Why would he murder people? Why would he being adulterous continuously, like, or being a, what's that word? When you marry so many women. And then look at it as I look at it, let me go by like my situation on the YouTube platform. A marriage is like a commitment, whether it's a man or a woman or whatever, it's like committed. I'm married to a woman that I don't see there being any reconciliation. And therefore, but then again, you know, Eve, you know, the story. So again, this is like a story. What story do you want to pick, Robin, huh? Well, who do you want to believe that you are? And then you're going to fall into that trap. Because right now it could be, since my wife is being pulled away by somebody else who's more slick and sly and cunning and, you know, smooth, and whether she's deceived or part of it. If she's deceived, then it's more like I'm the Adam, she's the Eve, and then once she gets pregnant, and I'm gonna stick her. Or that's not the case, because, you know, obviously Adam and Eve have already been. And it's like the scenarios of trying to get you trapped. And all right, Rob, okay, well, that's fine. You think you're King David? And we're going to send you a Bathsheba your way. And then, so if Eve was deceived and Adam did eat, and he wasn't deceived though, that's the thing. Adam knew what the serpent was offering and he accepted it. So Eve was the one that was deceived. So if there's a mimicking lifestyle, like the Truman Show, like let's just say, here I'm trying to get this so Jonathan Kleck knows what I'm talking about, and Stephen James and Derek Bros. $820 million the lottery's up to, with the Truman Show being a staged event. Well, so is my life. Everybody's been watching my life, and it's like, well, that's pretty uncomfortable. You know, I thought that before, but Truman Show, wait a minute. If they watch his every move, so they watch him play with himself and the embarrassing things that he does. Yep. Oh, okay. So let me go do some things that would be very embarrassing if people seen it. Just so I can make sure I can get those demons out of my mind, so I can be free. And then I'll demonstrate self-control after that. So here we are. Self-control. What comes my way? What's who, where, what, when? Where at? Where, what day, what time, what place? Who's gonna appear? What's gonna happen? Nothing? I doubt it. It's because I'm to the point where I don't want to mess with that. If you turn around, there's Twin Towers right there, to the point where it just seems like it's going to happen. Merry Christmas, Philly. So again, all these scenarios, I like to let the devil know that I think of these situations that happen. And you may be slick, but you're not that slick. You're not that slick. You are slick, for sure. You're more wise than Daniel, but okay, fine. You're more wise than him. But you're more wise than everybody on earth. But even Daniel. But I think Daniel is like the one in the Bible at that time that can keep up with you. So I just like to keep up with you. Let you know that you're not such a bad guy, really. when I can learn stuff that you put me through and come out on the other side still alive, still breathing, feeling better than I ever have before, because what you used against me to try to tear me apart. I mean, come on. 5% of men kill their wives when they leave them, and then themselves. 20% of men kill themselves. Like, wow, really? Over a woman? I mean, I understand the attachment, especially when you're with somebody for 6,000 days straight, But again, if you're part of the organization, you were meant to stay. You were meant to you're meant to be part of it. You still go and do things with other people you don't tell your husband about, but he figures it out anyway. And then it's like you understand the Truman Show. So that's the separation. That's the pulling away. That's like the Adam and Eve, but it's also the setup. It's the mimicry to try to keep you trapped into believing that you stay, or even Gomer and Hosea, like you stay and keep at it when you're supposed to go, because you're not Gomer or Hosea or whatever. So all these scenarios happen, and it just reminds me of what Freya was saying about someone from the past who, like me, for instance, I was always there for Steve, even because I knew there was an unusual connection. I never thought of Steve being a female or a transgender or an angel from heaven, neither male or female. I just thought Stephen James was Stephen James, just this character, I would have never thought later on that I would be in contact with a female that is Steve from the past. Or even, and then deal with these two twins that one of them hates me, one of them loves me. If you still hate me, that's a problem that you have with the demons that you haven't controlled yet. That's all. It ain't on me. Anybody can have these demons cast out of them. But, certain things have to happen. I don't know, whatever. Like revealing. For instance, the channels I deal with, when I can point out the twin switch in the video itself, that means the first twin, like I was watching the Freya video yesterday, a lot of them are re-uploads, but you almost had me there for a minute, because it was the over bubbly, joyful type. And I remember Jonathan Kleck used to do that too, that same overly happy, laughing, giggly type. And then, oh, hold on a second, and then twin switch. And then here comes the one that's for me, and that's what it reminded me. And I could be wrong, but I could also be right. So I'm willing to take that chance to look like a fool, because how do I really know? And who's going to tell me? It's just a matter of pointing these things out to you, because your spirit that is trying to be real slick and smooth isn't that slick and smooth. If I can see it, then I'm going to point it out. And if I'm right, it doesn't make you feel all that great about me, does it? Now, at a certain point in time, you could finally just break down and be like, oh man, he's right. What am I doing? He knows what I'm doing. I can't, I can't hide anything from him. How does he know? I don't know, you just give it away. So, yeah, that's how that works. And so someone from my past. Now, it could be a trick, it could be a cheap trick. I'm always going to be looking for tricks first. It's like, you don't sign the first offer that someone gives you either. You go to an auction. Do you agree with the very first price? Or do you wait until another offer comes along that is legitimate and you know it's the right one? Because the devil always comes first. Christ doesn't come first, the devil comes first. Well, Christ appears. The devil's always there, but Christ appears and the devil pops up as an angel of light. So an angel of light could also be a very attractive female on the outside, but on the inside, no. But I think Adam knew that. I think he knew that. He wasn't deceived by it. He's like, all right, I mean, I was already with, what are you gonna do? It's mankind. The whole world is mankind. What is the difference? Ovaries are up and in. Isn't every baby at first it's a female until it either drops or stays up? It's an interesting concept with all of it. So yeah, I don't know where all this heads. I don't know where it ends, where it starts, where it begins. But I know that this thing here, time wasted. The time, it's not fully wasted though. The work that I'm working, because I learned a lot about coming down here to Philly, and it's a time for everything. So but yeah, I never thought that the men that I dealt with would actually be females in the end, or they always were. And then you meet up through the internet airwaves again. Because it seems like a lot of people are talking about you, Steve. Someone from my past, looking to confess, looking to apologize, because it's eating you alive. Because, I mean, come on. You attack me so much. Did you do it on purpose? Did you really think you were going to? And then you see the art museum footage and you see all these things I'm doing, and you see that even though you've attacked me, even though you disappeared, I still searched after you. Your channels got cut down. I still went and looked and searched. You commented. I subscribed to your channel again. You didn't speak for weeks. I check in. I do videos. I remind you just to make you laugh. You come up. Then you appear. You attack me, and it's like, okay, I got him. I still have control. That was love for my brother. That I thought brotherly love, and then to keep doing it, and then even when you disappear for a long time, I make sure people remember you. So I can see how you must have really been battling some demons inside. And for you to be converted after that character in female form at the end, and you always were a female anyway, and you just put on the man mask and the voiceover, the filter, that would be so unusually funny. I understand why now. I get it. I get why one person would be like crying and thinking, and just because the turmoil inside, watching somebody rise up, like, man, I used to talk face to face with that person and I attacked them, and I was the one that was supposed to destroy what's rising. Look, everybody has a time to defeat their demons and move past things. And that would be the time. So, you know where I'll be on Christmas.